I debated about giving my thoughts and advice about this coronavirus and what's up and coming. But I'm going to tell you what God has done, and you make up your own minds. First of all, months before this virus broke out, God moved upon me to start collecting foods and start collecting laundry soap and things like that. And my loved ones asked me, "What are you doing? You're spending most of your money, most of your overtime. You're building up overtime and you're sweating your brow and you're buying all this stuff and you're stocking up what's going on." I don't know. I just feel like I need to. And I started hoarding food, non perishable foods. And then the virus broke out shortly after that. And then my family said to me, "Now we see what God has been doing through you." I said, "Yes, but who could have predicted what, a toilet paper shortage for real?" He said, "Yeah, but that's incidental. There's other ways to clean yourself up other than using toilet paper. But you have been collecting the non-perishable foods that are essential." Well, then the virus broke out, and I kept working, and I kept watching people not work and to leave because they were afraid to be there. And then I kept building more overtime, and then I got promoted to management, which meant I managed some people, and I was still sweating my brow, which my hours went from 35 to 45 hours all the way up to 60, 70 hours a week, which was okay. We no longer could go to church. We could not meet in buildings. So finally we figured out, let's meet in the parking lot in our cars with the windows up, doors locked, and we'll broadcast the sermons on a local FM station, and then we'll have a conference call, video or audio and or both, for us to be able to communicate as a church family one with another, to see and or hear each other, which we've been doing for the last several weeks. In the process, God had been moving upon me with the knowledge of nurses who have been talking to me, and plus my research on the Spanish flu from the early 1900s, that this kind of pandemic has more than one outbreak, and the gene mutates. So I listened to the experts, not the CDC, because the CDC is politically connected, and so they've been giving us a lot of misinformation. They've been misleading, and they've been lying to us. And the person in charge of the CDC has a very sordid past connected with the HIV and the AIDS. Take a look at it so you can make your own judgment call if you want to listen to him. But they came up with, you can wear these neckerchiefs around your face. No, you can't. That was a bull-faced lie. We all knew that. And those that wanted to believe it did. But that's not what was it. It was because there was no mask to be found. And then we were relying on China to give us the mask, the N95, and come and find out that they were giving us masks that were not as good. They were like N30s at the very best on a lot of them. So if you got the KN95, that was from China. But fortunately, God supplied me with N95 masks. He also provided me with respirators that were brand new that I bought before all this happened. So God kept moving upon me to keep building up supplies to the point that most of my check was going towards it now, and built up so far about an 8-month supply of non-perishable foods, mostly meats and vegetables, some fruit. Gave me a dehydrator, a deep chest freezer, and a stand-up freezer during this time when you couldn't get them. He moved upon me, and when he did, I went and looked for it, and lo and behold, one appeared. I bought it. And then again, it happened, and two appeared. I was able to buy one, and I was able to get two deep-chested. The meat processing plants people stopped going to work because they were afraid, so we started seeing food shortages and the lack of being able to bring the foods to us and the supplies that we needed. This is the kind of stuff that happened in the second wave of the Spanish flu. So God moved upon me to start collecting ahead of time. And I now have about an 8-month supply of food. I have a year's supply of a lot of things that are necessary, like laundry soap, bar soap, dish detergent, things like that. And now God is giving me the overtime and the ability to be able to move forward to make sure that if and when it happens, that not only is the food distribution chain disrupted because people are too afraid to go to places that are infected, a second time around with this pandemic flu, virus, that the foods will not be brought to the stores, that I'll have stocked up for it for me, my family, and my household, but also to provide ways to cook these meals and to be able to provide electricity. He gave me 2 emergency generators years ago that I've had. Mostly I thought to keep my one parrot alive, because when the power goes out during the wintertime, you got to have heat to keep the parrot so it doesn't die. Turns out that now I have a 2 month supply of gas and about a 2 month supply of water. We live in the Great Lakes, so that getting water and purifying it is not that difficult because he's provided that also. So now I'm working on getting it so that I have power, so that when the people don't want to go to the electrical plants to keep them going and they shut down, if it does, then God will and continue to supply that also. Remember, Christians, do not fear. Follow God's leadings. If he doesn't lead you this way, that's okay. If he does, do what he leads you to do. Don't be ashamed. Remember that God supplies, and he always will. He took care of Jeremiah during the siege. He took care of Elijah during the drought. He takes care of his own. And remember that there's those that he does not take care of during these time frames of famine. But God will see us through. He will not let us go. Some of them that might not be seen through, it might be their time to go home. Is that wrong? No, he's the maker. But in this case, this is what he's done. My advice to you, follow your leadings from God. And be wise. Stock up on canned meats. Stock up on canned vegetables, canned fruits. Get your dry beans. Stock these things up. Go on YouTube. Learn how to do this. Learn how to be able to survive if this thing goes really bad. If it doesn't, you have plenty of food. You can use it later, or you can give it to the food banks and to the people that need it, the homeless. Don't forget to continually to give. Give your tithe, give to those who are in need. And keep working. Take whatever job you can and keep working. There's nothing beneath us. Nothing, people. Do what you can do. But pray, always pray and ask God. This is what God has done with me right now. I currently have stocked up what I consider to be a comfortable amount of food for me, my family, and my household. Now, God is moving upon me to get alternative energy so that if the power plants go down, we'll be able to have electricity in this house, hopefully through solar power. We'll see. But please, people, be smart. Wear your N95 masks. Keep your distance as much as possible. And do not let your guard down. If others do so, don't you do it until there's a vaccine or you're away from them and not downwind of them. Keep your distance. Remember, God has given you the brain to do so. If you catch this thing by being stupid, that's on you. This virus came about because man did not listen to what God said in the Old Testament about foods. They ate vile foods like bat soup in that area in China and spread this thing throughout. And then in Michigan, the VA emergency room let a man go through knowing that he had the virus up to another floor because they didn't want to deal with him. And that spread throughout the entire state, killing over 5,000 people. That's not something I don't know. I know this. So be careful and don't blindly trust your government. Trust God, because our government is full of corrupt, indecent people. From the head of the CDC, in my opinion, all the way up. So do not listen to them. Follow the Lord on this. Keep your eyes off man and put them on God. So that's what God's doing with me. That's my advice to you. Follow what God is leading you. Use your brain. And in my opinion, stock up and be prepared and be ready. Have wood. Have something to be able to cook with some way, or have cold foods, peanut butter and jelly. Have things to survive. God bless, and please continue to pray for me in the ministry. If you need any prayers, please leave them in the comments so we can pray for you also. And remember to give us updates. Thank you and God bless.